Hey nurses, this is Andrea, ICU nurse communicator, and life coach. And I'm just giving you this video about impact. And if you could write this question down, how am I making an impact today as a nurse? Now that you have that written down, you can answer that. And you may have rules on how you think you're making an impact as a nurse. And here's what I'd like to challenge you in the next 4 minutes is to see if you think that you can't make an impact as a new nurse. And also, we confuse busy with impactful. We're human. We're not taught that our intentions create our feelings and actions. And you get the opportunity to learn through me and through a lot of thought leaders that our thoughts create our feelings, create our actions. So our busy actions, or the action of being busy, we think creates our impact in nursing, but our intention of I can be impactful today creates a feeling of empowerment, which then shows us our busyness or our to-do list. So just consider that. We confuse busy with impactful. You know, if you think about the things that are most impactful in your life, what are they? What make the most impact to you? What were you thinking about before you started a nursing job? This is how I'm going to make an impact. Is it being really good at IVs? Is it being a great communicator? Is it being kind? Is it being always ready to help? Is it being able to step back and say, I'm not in a place where I can do that right now? Those are all ways that we can be impactful. But sometimes we aren't in a headspace to think around what I just offered. And so this takes practice. And that's where we forget that building a habit needs practice. And thinking about impact from a lens versus coming from our to-do list or busy takes practice. And that is okay. And so you just start out your shift knowing how you'll be impactful. And you don't have to know what patients you're going to have, what your day is going to look like. You get to decide ahead of time what impactful is for you. And I'm here to tell you, as a coach and someone who has done this work, that when you set out with that intention to be impactful, you will be. And also, do not kid yourself that impactful always feels good. That replacing busyness with the intention of impact to see where it takes you won't feel uncomfortable, because it will. But can it feel more uncomfortable than not actually knowing where your impact comes from? And you are one thought away from being as impactful as you always wanted to be when you were in nursing school. If you had an intention, you get the opportunity to live that out. Even in a pandemic, even short-staffed, even if you're new to your job, and remember, new is a label. We can do being new very well. We can do new as we like. And this is one way to do new, is to allow yourself to be impactful now, to not hold on to that until you think there's a better time. Because what is a better way to be the best new nurse than to know how you're making an impact now? What this requires of you is probably a couple minutes of reflecting on a shift. You're going to need to look at hindsight and say, oh, here's where I was impactful on this shift. That means sending your brain in search of what was impactful, and our brains love to go to what we can fix. Sure, we always need to look at what we can fix, but first we want to look at what was impactful, and then what we would like to do differently. So that's your work for this week. Do a couple minutes of journaling. Start with what was impactful. Feel free to go to what you want to fix. It will come naturally, and reach out to me with questions. Thank you, nurses.